Welcome everyone. Today we have a new last Epoch guide for Warlock updated build. Now looking behind me, some of my viewers were recommending to show the demonstration of the damage onto Julia, and here you can see within 20 seconds we can kill her super fast with my version of the new meta Warlock. Yes guys, we're still using the combination of the self-ignite and also absorbing minions. Well, I have more utility and also a little more movement speed, which I want to show you guys in the demonstration over here. So coming over to one of my replays. Having the haste combination with the bonus haste effect allows our Warlock to be incredibly fast to pass through content. So let me show you over here. I was able to achieve 162%, later 163%, I'm not sure why. I was getting maximum movement speed and I was running through the map super fast. And this was when I was level 95. So after changing my build a little bit, I was getting close to level 99, level 100, and let me show you guys a few of the dungeons. So here you can see me preparing to fight the shape boss with over 500 corruption. Now I didn't have enough time to push for higher corruption, but I do believe my build can easily go for 800, 1000 corruption without any problems. Because as you can see in the background, this is a 500 corruption shade, and within 5 seconds he was down to half HP. And the build, yes, it is extremely tanky. I'll talk about the absorbing minions and the problem it has, because I have heard from our viewers that this can be potentially a little bug because we're absorbing too much minions. So during the recording of the demonstration, you can see most of the dungeons and all the runs are 500 plus corruption, and we don't really have any problems. So I'll also show you guys a few of the demonstration over here with the runs. Now, brief summary of the build and what has changed for me. I am using the Ghost Flame for mobility, which gives me a little more boost of movement speed. While getting over to enemies, I can instantly cast with close to 200 bonus casting speed to get tons of stack of self-ignite, which with a belt give me increased spell damage flat up to 240. And with all the amplifiers and also having some better rolls on items, I was able to deal tons of damage. And you can see within the 500 corruption monsters, they die pretty fast. And whenever I need it, I can gain myself tons of barriers of warding. And this is before I even get more gears with minion health. I plan to get more gears with minion health, and this will make me unkillable even after they change the problem with the too much gaining of the warding. Now in terms of mobility, you'll always be triggering haste as you go through the map, and you can notice that I'm no longer teleporting with my fissure. And this allows me to have a wider fissure, and also I don't have any cooldowns with my fissure. So I have made a few personal adjustments for the build, which I want to share with you guys. And coming over to any of the belts, any of the elites, within 2 seconds or 3 seconds, they will die super fast. Now finally, showing you guys a demonstration of fighting the storyline boss around corruption 500. Yes, we are super tanky, super fast, and the rotation of the skill is amazing. Briefly going through the rotation of the skill. At the start, I'll be auto casting or quick casting my Spirit Plague to get at least 40 stacks of burn onto myself, and then casting my Cathartic Fissure, followed by Ghost Flame, or followed by a Curse and then absorbing minions. There are 2 rotation combinations. If I don't have the cooldowns of my Perfect Veil, I'll simply cast my Ghost Flame, and this allows me to heal back to full life. If I have my Perfect Veil, I'll cast my Curse first, then absorb my Bone Prison. And this whole combination, which I'll explain in the later videos as well, is incredibly powerful. And this is definitely one of my favorite builds for the Warlock, and also my favorite build for last epoch so far. Super durable, super mobile, and also deals tons of damage. So what I do is, I'll have this entire replay to demonstrate all parts of the game over 500 corruption. And yes guys, if you plan to push over 1000, 2000 corruptions, this is the solo build for you to try before they nerf it. And if they do nerf it, I'll have adjustment for you guys to even make the build not legitimate even after they change the setup as well. Now if you guys haven't seen this build before, yes, we can deal easily 1 million, 2 million, 3 million damage per tick with a damage over time, which allows the build to deal insane damage over 1000 corruption and also above. Now I can comfortably say our build can easily push for 1000 corruption, and here when I was following the curse, here was up to 800 corruption. It takes a while to push for corruptions, this is why I'm a little slow onto the corruption pushing, but if you follow the builder's guide, if you get somewhere halfway as close to what I was crafting here, you can easily push for 1000 corruption. This is a promise guys, money back guarantee. Now I have updated my builder's guide with a few changes. So firstly, you can see that most of the legendary items have been added with 3 of the special stats. The tier 7 stats is the one I currently think is decent, and you can see that I have added some tier 5 stats which you can also get onto those gears. In terms of the gear choices, I have went for the 24 intelligence over here on the chest. Maybe it's easier to show you guys over here. 23 intelligence because I didn't roll the maximum roll. I am on the process of upgrading my gears, but I'm having some extremely unlucky with crafting. This was a really good build, but it crafted onto warding, which is the worst one. I had 3 correct ones, it crafted onto the worst ones. And let me just show you guys, the crafting was not great. I have lightning over here and I have fire resistance over here. Some terrible craftings with my gears, but if you want to see what you can craft for the end game, those are some of the ideal stats. And because we have mentioned about the build previously, and if you haven't seen the previous video, definitely have a look over here to see these abilities and also to learn from the curse as well, which he was a creator and also the one who designed this build. So what I do now is I'll come over to my character and briefly explain the core concept of the build, and this way if you guys are new to the build, you still understand. So firstly, you want to stack crit multipliers because this particular perk allows you to have an amplification multiplicatively with your crit multiplier. That's why we're stacking this one without any crit chance. We're also stacking uncapped narcotic resistance for the similar concept of multipliers, and this also gives us another multipliers for more damage. Now our Perfume Veil has the ability to absorb minions, and this allows us to gain additional warding by absorbing minions. We'll be summoning minions with a Bone Prison, and having the Bone Prison available and also absorbing them means currently I'm getting tons of shielding. So I'm currently sitting on 470% minion health, I'm getting over 50,000 shielding. And this, I did hear from some of our viewers, could potentially be a bug because the scaling is not 4%, it could be up to 40%. But even after the changes and also nerfs to this particular part, this build is incredibly mobile, speedy, and also durable using the same concept. Now our Ghost Flame is our mobility skill. We'll be going with maximum reduction to channel cost and while gaining an additional movement speed and also life leech. Life leech keeps us to high life because we'll be self-burning a lot. So over here you can see, as I burn myself, my life goes down. Now, as we keep going, our Bone Curse is essentially a debuff that gives us more narcotic damage and also will be summoning minions to absorb them. Finally, our Spirit Plague is very cool interaction, and this is the cornerstone of the build. You'll be self-bleeding yourself, and every time you cast a spell over here with Spirit Plague, you'll bleed yourself for 5 stacks. And having the ability of this cornerstone gloves turns bleeding into burn damage onto ourselves or ignite. And having this melt means that ignite, when we have ignite onto ourselves, this will give us bonus spell damage. And this is incredibly powerful with a combination of the cathartic fissure which snapshots. So once I get myself to 40 stacks and I cast a spell, the damage bonus will always stay there unto 40 stacks, meaning I have 240 bonus spell damage. And this in combination with the fastest scaling cast speed with a Mad Alchemist wand make us incredibly strong. I have had questions saying why do you use this wand? So I'm currently not on the highest intelligence. I think I was on like, here, this is my proper boots. This is my low movement speed boots. This is my faster movement speed boots. So notice I'm currently close on 140, 139 intelligence. This particular wand will give me tons of casting speed. For every 2 intelligence, I get 1 casting speed. So I'm sitting on 50% casting speed. Now it's 120% casting speed with a tier 7 roll of casting speed and also the 70 cast speed we gain from intelligence. So this allows us to be incredibly powerful using this wand. And also we deal more spell damage having more alignment, and also we can have a lot more damage over time. Now in terms of the passives, it is pretty straightforward. I just want to mention this passive. This is one of the reasons I get tons of intelligence converted to mana. You need at least 5 points over here to make this work. And this converts my massive mana, scales even up, converts my massive intelligence, scales even more into my mana. I have 350 mana over here, also because of the blessing. I'm really liking the blessing to increase additional mana, because this allows me to, ride my bike around most of the time in the dungeon. Having 83% movement speed with my speedy boots, I can have 95% movement speed. And with a haste and also additional haste effect, we're up to 60 or 160% movement speed for this super strong build. Now in terms of the loot filter, I have made adjustment for loot filter adding the paladin support. If you have seen our previous build, we're looking at a paladin support for 2000 level corruption with co-op. So my friend Royal is making a paladin. I'm currently looking for items for him. So if you are not planning to look for paladin items, and if you are not planning to look for falconer items, you can click those ones without a warlock name on it. But if you're looking for warlock items, I have looked for all the warlock items for most of the popular warlock build. Not only for this one, and also for self-bleeding, low life, and any warlock that is in-game, I have added those items in. There's also two varieties of the loot filter. With tier 6, it's much easier for the transition after level 70, and also tier 7, much stricter. Be aware guys, I even removed set items from tier 7, because I'm currently getting too many set items, and this is a terrible rank. I don't need set items. So if you're planning to use my loot filter for tier 7, be aware it is much more stricter. But everything else is still good. You'll still get all the decent tier 7 affixes when they drop. Now briefly onto our skill rotations. Before you start fighting, there's two choices guys. First, you'll be riding around with this flame scout like a little bike. And then when you see enemies, you can start stacking damage. And notice that once I get to 40%, I will be casting my Cathartic Fissure. Now what I didn't realize is I don't have to keep pressing the button once, right? I can just hold down the skill button and this will auto cast a spell. And this allows me to benefit the most from my casting speed, simply because if I press this, I can't press it fast enough. But if I hold down the skill, you automatically cast as fast as I can to get up to 40 stacks. You just need 40 stacks of self-burning and this will give you the maximum damage. Now for the case if you find yourself to be dying a little more, and it will take some time to stack up those stacks, you can first come over near enemies or before you reach enemies, cast your curse, absorb your minions, and then start fighting. So this way, you're sitting on like 10, 20, 50,000 warding, and you're pretty much unkillable. Now finally, whenever needed, if you need to life heal or life steal, first you curse enemies, and then you cast your little scout bike, and then you'll be lifestealing incredibly strong using this combination. So you can see the combination in action over here. So what I do is, if I need to be a little tanky, I tank up first, then I'll be riding my bike around. When getting over to objective or whenever I want to kill monsters, I don't have to go for all 40 stacks. Just 1 or 2 stacks with bonus damage will kill most monsters on the map. But if I want to kill elites and monsters who are stronger, yes, getting close to 40 stacks of self-burning is a little beneficial. And majority of the time you don't have problems, you're just riding a bike around. Mana management is a little important. You don't want to run out of mana like I do over here, also too reckless, because without mana you can't do anything. So first I cast my curse and this gives me additional shielding. And then I just stack the burn onto the boss and just watch him die. And this is incredibly simple once you get the rotation. So what I do now is I'll provide you guys with this entire replay of the demonstration of the build. And I'll be improving this one all the way up to level of corruption 1000. I'll be pushing for those whenever I can after making those videos. Now if you guys haven't subscribed, this is a really good time to do so, because I'll be learning with tons of the top meta, last epoch build from different players in terms of solo and also in terms of co-op to push for higher corruptions, 800, 2000 here, and also different ways of getting top leaderboard with arena with leveling. And in doing so, we'll be learning multiple builds from the best players in the world. So make sure you subscribe and join me on this adventure to learn with Last Epoch. And if you guys do have an amazing build, whether it's a fun build, it's a creative build, or maybe a top meta build, you can share with me on Discord, and I'll look into it, learn the build, and share with everyone on the Last Epoch community.